You know that feeling when you're pushing yourself so hard physically that your mind just clicks? Well, today we're diving deep into that incredible connection. We're going to break down how pushing our absolute limits can unlock something pretty special, something called the optimal experience. So let's kick things off with this idea of virtuosity. It's not about inventing some brand new, super complicated thing. Not at all. It's about mastering the basics so well that you perform them with just breathtaking excellence. Picture a musician, an artist, or an athlete who makes something ordinary look absolutely extraordinary. I mean, we can all spot mastery when we see it, right? But what does it actually feel like from the inside? When you are at the absolute peak of your game, what is going on in your head? That's the really fascinating question we're going to dig into. To really get a handle on this, we need to zoom out a bit. See, this desire to improve ourselves physically, it's not some modern fad. It's this deep-rooted, timeless human quest. And it even has a name: physical culture. Physical culture is basically the whole shebang. Every activity we've ever used to get stronger, faster, and healthier. You can think of it as this constant thread that connects, say, the ancient Greek Olympians all the way to the athletes of today. They're all driven by that same fundamental need to improve. Okay, so what does this ancient quest look like in our world right now? We're going to zoom in on one really specific and famously intense modern example to explore that feeling of mastery: the whole philosophy behind CrossFit. At its heart, the program is built on three core pillars. Constantly varied just means the workouts are always changing, which keeps you on your toes and forces your body to adapt. High intensity is, well, that's kind of the secret sauce for real results. And functional movements are all about mimicking actions you do in everyday life. It's this exact mix that creates the perfect storm for what we're about to get into. Now, here's where it gets really interesting: the philosophy behind it. The big idea is that the physical needs of an elite, world-class athlete and, say, your grandma are actually way more alike than you'd think. The difference isn't the type of thing they need to do, it's the intensity and the load. They both need to be able to squat, right? It's just the weight on the bar that changes. It's a pretty radical idea that makes high performance feel accessible to literally everyone. And that term, high intensity, isn't just some marketing buzzword. It's grounded in real science. See, our bodies have these three main energy systems, or pathways. This kind of training is designed to challenge all three of them, from those super short explosive bursts that use the phosphagen system, all the way to the long-haul endurance of the oxidative system. Pushing this hard is the key because it demands 100% of your focus. This right here is the engine room for the entire experience. Okay, so you push through one of these workouts. It's tough, it's uncomfortable, your heart is pounding out of your chest. You finish, you collapse on the floor, and then something else happens. When the psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi interviewed people about their absolute peak experiences, this is the kind of thing they said. They didn't really talk about the pain or the exhaustion. No, instead they described this feeling of effortlessness, like they were being carried by a current. They called it flow. And that right there brings us to the psychological heart of this whole thing. We've all heard athletes and musicians talk about being in the zone. Well, that everyday phrase has a scientific name with a ton of research behind it: the state of flow. So what is flow? It's a state of total absorption. It's when you're so deep into what you're doing that everything else just melts away. It's not just about being happy, it's this energized, focused enjoyment of the process itself. So what does it actually feel like to be in flow? Well, researchers have kind of broken it down into 6 key ingredients. You've got intense focus, your actions feel almost automatic, you completely lose that feeling of self-consciousness, you feel a sense of control, time gets all weird, it might fly by or slow way down, and you're doing the thing just for the love of doing it, not for some external reward. Now, this is the most important part to understand. You can't just flip a switch and turn on flow. It only happens under very specific conditions. The task has to be challenging enough to demand your full, undivided attention, but not so crazy hard that it just overwhelms your skills. If it's too easy, you're bored. If it's too hard, you're anxious. Flow happens in that perfect sweet spot, right on the razor's edge between boredom and anxiety. And this brings us to the really big idea. Getting into this state of flow isn't just about having a great workout or a super productive day at work. It's about something way more profound. You see, Csikszentmihalyi called flow the optimal experience for very good reason. In those moments, we're not just performing well, we are pushing our abilities to their absolute limits. We are growing, learning, and literally expanding who we are as people. And the more we have these kinds of experiences, the more it adds up to this deep, lasting sense of satisfaction with our lives. And of course, you don't have to be in a gym to find this. This optimal experience is available to all of us, everywhere. Think about a musician who's lost in a solo, their fingers just flying without any conscious thought. Or a gamer finally beating that impossibly hard boss after hours of focus. Or a painter who's so absorbed that the brush feels like a part of their own hand. They are all tapping into the exact same universal state of flow. So, what's the takeaway here? Well, the path to the state isn't always easy or comfortable. It requires you to push through some serious challenges, both physically and mentally. But the reward is that incredible feeling of total immersion and growth. So, the question I want to leave you with is a personal one. Where do you find your flow?